Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Belief Cast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the BeliefCast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap & Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. The visionaries behind Thread wallets. These wallets redefine style and functionality. Dave Philippi from Micro Plus, pushing the boundaries of nanotechnology and scientific research to bring us cutting-edge supplements for optimal health. The Ralphs and the Debenhams, creators of Mori Nutrition and Calm. Because if you're struggling with sleep, feeling stressed, or can't focus, Calm is your answer. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode. And finally, Gab Wireless, letting kids be kids and giving parents the peace of mind they deserve. Right now, Gab is offering $25 off any device to new customers with no contract required. That's $25 off any Gab smartphone or smartwatch. Just go to gab.com/belief. That's where you'll get the best deal. That's Gab, GABB.com/belief. Thank you to all these amazing sponsors for supporting the BeliefCast podcast and empowering us to continue spreading positivity and inspiration to the world. Welcome back, everybody. This is the host of the BeliefCast, Todd Sylvester. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited for today. We have an amazing human being that's going to be on our show. But I also want to thank my sponsors that you just heard about in the beginning of the intro. Thank you for believing in me. And you guys have been so supportive of me and everyone tuning in week after week. I bring on some amazing people, and you guys know that. And thanks for sharing the episodes with your loved ones. It means a lot to me as well. And, you know, I'll tell you, I think we're saving lives. I have people that have reached out to me and said, hey, that episode changed the course of my life. And I felt like I had no purpose. And I didn't think I was going to overcome the darkness I found myself in. And because of those words, it changed my life. So, man, how cool is that, right? So thank you guys. I love you. And today we're joined by an incredible human being. Like I said, his name's Gabe Schiavone. Did I say that right?
Schiavone, yeah.
Schiavone, yes. Very cool. I've known Gabe now for a few years now. And we met at Wasatch Recovery, actually,
Yep.
to be completely open and honest. Mm-hmm. And he's got quite the story. He has lived a life, and he's a musician. He's an artist. He's passionate about recovery. He's a family man. He's an advocate for mental health. He is a pillar in our community now. He helps those who are struggling. He's just an inspiring human being. And we've done a lot of sitting down in this office. Yeah. We're finally recording now, I guess. But I'm
putting
great.
It on wax.
Yeah, putting it on wax. Yeah, we talked about that, man. You know, I just love your insight, and I just want you to know I respect you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful that I'm a part of your life and part of your journey. And I'm excited for our listeners to hear your story today. So thanks for being here, Gabe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't we start off, just let our listeners get to know you a little bit. Tell us, where you grew up and maybe some things about your childhood.
Yeah. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in an atmosphere of entertainment. My mom was an entertainer. My dad worked in the motion picture film industry. Great parents, super supportive and, available when they were, my mom did travel a lot, and my dad traveled a lot to be on location for films and stuff. He was a set designer. And I'm the youngest of 7 boys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's news.
And so, yeah, my childhood was, and obviously, my parents were well-to-do.
Okay.
And so there were a lot of, opportunities for me to do. I went to performing arts school, and pretty much the childhood was pretty normal.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I started making like kind of my own way. My older brothers, my oldest had gone away to Vietnam. And I remembered what an impact that had on me. I was born in 1962. And so I was old enough to kind of, see what was going on in the media and stuff,
Yeah.
And then my other brothers, they all kind of went into, their own way.
Yeah.
And I guess when you have everything, you seek something different, you know?
Yeah.
And so, a few of my brothers headed down the wrong path almost immediately, and went to the other side of the tracks and
Right.
that kind of deal. And that didn't have like a strong influence on me. I was really kind of connected to like my dreams. I really admired my mother. My mother was the kind of person who could light up any room she walked into, anywhere she went. People were like, "Lee, did you bring your guitar?" And she was just that, life of the party kind of gal. And I wanted to be like her. I just remember watching the way she, the way people looked at her and stuff, and I wanted to be like her. So I didn't really follow that influence of my brothers quite yet,
Yeah.
And my oldest brother, Jimmy, he was my hero. He was a soldier, he would send back pictures of them, overseas and stuff, and the stuff that he was doing, and chopper pilot and everything, and it just looked like, wow, man, he's really a neat guy.
Yeah. Right.
But when he came back, it was shocking to me, because this guy that I had put on this pedestal, that was my hero, came back, heavily addicted to drugs, and drank, and for whatever, I'm sure he had reasons to want to escape what was going on in his head from what he went through over there. And so I kind of disconnected. And, he would take me out and we'd ride dirt bikes and, like hang out and stuff. But I could tell my mom was very nervous about me being around him because he was constantly drinking, So I detached kind of from that. And as I got into my teens, it was rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like I just, I wanted to be a rock and roll guitarist.
Yeah, you mentioned you were attached to your dreams, and so when you were a younger kid, even really young, is that what you kind of saw yourself as this on stage rock and roll star, playing the guitar,
and
singing,
that's cool, that's what kids are supposed to have. Is kids are supposed to have dreams.
I got to be honest with you, I to this day will still daydream about being a rock star. I really do. And I remember as a kid how cool that would feel to be playing in front of 30,000, 50,000 people and have them screaming at you, and you're just you're connecting with them with your guitar or your third. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And that was it. Like I remember like very like clearly that it wasn't like I didn't have this dream of being this rich, fancy.
Right.
I had this dream of sharing something that I loved with people.
Okay.
That would bring like happiness and joy and excitement.
Yeah.
And that was what I was aiming for,
Right.
I joke with people all the time. I say I'm no better on the guitar now than I was when I was 15 because I sought out to be a songwriter and an entertainer.
Okay.
That was where like my energy went.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so like teenage years, obviously, growing up right there, West Hollywood area, Sunset Strip, that was it. It was super exciting.
Yeah,
you know?
you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like 1977 punk rock hit, and I heard the Ramones, and I was like, it just changed my life. I was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
this is it, And, but along with that life, it was drinking. A lot of people drink.
Yeah, so you
in
kind of
the
just followed
industry.
suit, and
Yeah.
it's just what you do. And,
And it didn't seem like I was doing anything bad.
Right.
Other than that, I was underage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fake IDs, sneak into the club or whatever. But at that point, it didn't seem like I was doing anything bad. But yeah, I was connected with other people my age, other kids my age, that had the same dream. And, we started bands, and we went out and we played, and they wouldn't even let us in the club before our set time because we were underage. So they would, like 15 minutes before the show, you'd go in and have to set up your stuff real
Fast.
quick. Yeah. And then as soon as you were done, you had to get out of there. Right. And I'm not even sure if that was like legal at the time, but they did have like, entertainment laws or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, life was exciting like that.
Tell me about, like, so you go to, one of these bars, if you will, your first time playing on stage. What was that experience like? Because it'd been your dream. Now all of a sudden you create this band with some friends, and now you're on stage. What was that first time like for you?
Terrifying. It's like, how when you really believe in something and then you tell somebody about it and you wait for their response.
Yeah, you're like, uh-oh.
And that's that feeling, I remember like, my knees rattling and my palms sweating and everything, and here it is. But, everything that you did in the garage, you got to bring here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, and then, Hollywood was very competitive.
Sure.
A lot of bands, a lot of people striving, just like it was, in 40s and 50s with actors and actresses, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Very competitive. So, yeah, but once I had that first show under my belt, like I knew, like, this is me. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And after that, it was just about, going out and doing it.
Wow. That had to have been amazing.
Yeah, super exciting. And what was really cool was, my mom was very supportive of it. My parents never said to me, well, you better get a real job, or, you know what I mean? Like, they never said that.
Really?
They were very encouraging. Like, my mom said, you can be anything you want to be, Gabey.
Really?
Like, that's what she would say.
Cool.
You can be anything you want to be. All you got to do is do the work and embrace the struggle.
You mentioned this already, but it sounds like your mom was a really, really good influence on you, and you really looked up to her.
Yeah.
What were some other lessons that you learned from her? Maybe even outside of Go Live Your Dreams. Was there other things that you learned from her?
Well, so my mom, like, she came from nothing, literally. Native American, and like her family, they had nothing.
Yeah.
And so my mom, like, set out her goals and her dreams and started achieving them. And so she had all these great one-liners, you know what I mean? Like, about life, you know?
Okay, yeah.
and so, like, I would come up against a wall in something in my life, and she always had, like, that right thing to say.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, she taught me how to, like I said, embrace the struggle in life.
Okay.
Like, she was very, and she would say things to me, like, I would come home and I would say, this is not working out. I can't do this and I can't do that. And she'd say, can't lives on Won't Street, and I would go, wait a minute, what? And, like, she would not hear I can't from me.
That's cool.
And then, like, the typical parent stuff, you know what I mean? She would help me with schoolwork. She would, like, she was just, when she was available, she was 100% available.
Wow.
And she taught me a lot about love and life and
Yeah.
but, like, my mom had her struggles to endure as well.
Sure.
With my other brothers that were going down that wrong road. I mean, my mom lost, in a 5-year period, 3 of her boys.
Really?
And it's all drug, alcohol, crime related,
Wow.
And so, like, I remember watching a little bit of a decline with her. Back in the day, when somebody was going through something, they just gave them Valium. You know,
Yeah, take these.
Here, take these. You'll
Yeah.
feel better.
Yeah.
And she never like got into like a drug habit or anything like that. But I do remember witnessing that. That like people, what we have today for mental health and addiction, all the help that we have, all the answers we have, all the solutions that we have, like, are way more than they had back then. They didn't even know how to recognize things like ADD, stuff like that. They didn't have names for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you were a hyperactive kid, they were like, quit giving them sugar, or, you know what I mean? Like it was very different. And it was like, go see a psychiatrist. That was everybody's solution. Go see a psychiatrist, and psychiatrists.
Well, I can't imagine how hard that was for your, for your whole family to lose these, people in your family, your brothers and her sons, and that had to have been so difficult. And here you are, you're the youngest, right?
Yeah.
Coming up, but then there's your mom still teaching you these great lessons, telling you can be anything you want to be. I mean, props to her to be able to say those things and keep influencing you despite all the struggles she was going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
And my dad, my dad was the same way, but my dad was that old school Italian, you know what I mean? That was like, to get your attention, he'd smack you in the face, Not like, a fist, but, like just that little slap, like, hey, are you listening to me?
Talking to me?
And he was like the very firm, and if you didn't want something, and he was, again, somebody else that came from nothing. He built an empire.
Yeah.
He came across in 1915 on a boat from Naples, Italy. And I mean, I still have his naturalization papers. It's really cool to look at it, all yellow. You know what I mean? But like, and, came from Providence, Rhode Island. Him and his brother Johnny saw a silent film in the 20s or whatever. And my dad says there's going to be money to be made in that. And they bought a car for $7. I'm picturing like some Model A or something, right? And there were no freeways yet. And they drove from Rhode Island to Los Angeles. It took them 18 months. They would stop at farms and work on the farms to get fuel, because again, no gas stations every corner, right? And they would get enough fuel to put in this, little barrel tank and drive to the next farm and work for a while. And when they got to Los Angeles, they went they were just starting to really build up like Paramount and Warner Brothers Studios and stuff. And they went in and started building sets, and before you know it, he was like a set designer, like a lot of the, like growing up, I remember like a lot of the sitcoms that were on TV, the Lucy Show and My Three Sons and Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, shows like that. Like he designed all those sets.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of movie stuff, all the on the road pictures with Bob Hope and stuff. So, he again was a very driven person that like, if you saw something, you wanted it, you wanted to be a part of it, go be a part of it. And it helped me then to do what I wanted to do. And then fast forward to where I'm at now, I remember all those same values. And I had to come back to believe in them. And it's it's amazing. Like I look back and I think, did they have a vision of what they wanted for their kids, or did they just open the door? You know, and that's huge to open the door for your children.
Hey.
How scary is it to send your children out into the world?
Yeah.
I mean, think you got kids like what, the first time one of them gets a driver's license and they're driving out of the driveway, and you're going, "Oh,
yeah,
please, God."
Yeah.
You know,
man, this is scary.
And it's the same thing, turning your kids loose into the world. You know.
Yeah, it really is, and it's awesome though. I'm sure, you know, your mom. You know, we go back to that first time when you were on stage and you're, you know, obviously you're underage, but you're playing. And again, your mom encouraging you. I'm sure she was so proud to see that you were like, hey, she may have opened the door, but you walked through it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Which I'm sure she was really proud to see you do that.
Yeah.
And your dad.
Always made a big deal out of it, you know. And my dad was like, he struggled with the image thing.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you know, like early 70s, the glitter, glam, you know, and then the punk rock with mohawks and safety pins stuck through your ears and stuff. And, you know, my dad being traditional Italian was like, what is this? Now, keep in mind, like, there was, like, when my dad had his first heart attack, okay, they would not let me in the hospital because of the way I looked. They said I was scary looking.
Did you have the mohawk?
Big mohawk, you know, safety pins through my ears, eyeliner. You know, I walked around, and that was my...
They're like, who is this guy?
Yeah, there's the people who have their street outfit and then their rock outfit. And then there's, like, the punk rockers who, like, your rock outfit is what you wear all day long, right?
Day.
And I remember going to Six Flags Magic Mountain in 1978. They would not let us in.
Like, these guys are going to burn this place to the ground. Don't let them in.
And we were, you know, we were on the forefront of starting a genre, an image, a lifestyle that, you know, it had a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and music does that.
Yeah.
Music will take you through so many changes. Of the way society is and the way society looks at it. I mean, let's go back and look. When the Beatles first came here, people were tripping on it.
Yeah.
You know, they thought they were communists or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then think about Elvis shaking his hips and how, like, or Jim Morrison going on the Johnny Carson show. I mean, like, everyone, when you're in the music industry, you subject yourself to a judgment and a criticism.
Big time.
You know?
Yeah.
Before you get the praise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're going to laugh at this. Do you remember Donahue?
Oh, yeah.
He had, I'm sorry, guys, but I forgot the name of this rap group. And they brought on this rap group, and they came in and sang, it was an all-white crowd.
Yeah.
And they're in there just saying what rap does on the streets. And dude, to watch the faces of these, it was hilarious. I actually saw a rerun of it or a clip of it the other day, and I was like laughing so hard because their faces were like, what is this? You know, and kind of like what you're saying, you know, they were facing obviously some criticism. They were facing like, who, you know, this isn't a part of our society.
Yeah.
And now obviously rap's, you know, been around a long time now. But it was just interesting, kind of like that reminded me when you said that.
And I still see that. Like, I mean, it's not something that goes away. I mean, some of the outfits that like Lady Gaga wears or Britney Spears or Miley Cyrus, and like people go, whoa, you know, very provocative, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes a minute for things to get more socially acceptable. And that has its good avenue and it has its bad avenue as well, you know. I mean, like, I never thought I would hear myself say this, but like I get the explicit lyric stickers now. You know, having kids myself, and what they're listening to and what kind of influence it has on them.
For sure.
You know, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm, as a musician, that's like the holy grail of things that I should not say out loud. But I'm saying it out loud. Like it really, you know, when in the music that I write, especially now, yeah, I talk about things, that from the past, and
Yeah.
most of my songs are storytelling.
Sure.
And I tell stories about my life.
Yeah.
A lot of it now has gone into a more positive message. I mean, I still get a little silly and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Right. Yeah.
it when I listen to music, I something happens inside me
Yeah.
when I listen to music, and I'm able to listen to all genres.
Yeah.
But the mind picks up on the lyrics,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I ask myself, what am I listening to? Am I listening to something that's given me a positive energy or a negative energy?
I love that.
You know?
Well, obviously, you've been obviously really dedicated to music, and just obviously you've been very passionate about it. It's your dream. And when I first met you here, just you were all about music still, even, and just you just exuded it. It was cool. It was like, hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I just love that about you, because again, you were just you're being authentic. So you had this great run for a while. Then you were hit with something. You were hit with cancer.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell our listeners what kind of cancer that you had, and what kind of how that turned things for the worse for
Yeah.
you?
So I was diagnosed. So let me just back up a little bit.
Okay.
I had, in the music business, I had suffered a pretty heavy affliction with alcohol. And I, it made a mess for a while, and I got off the alcohol, and I really didn't have a lot of experience with drugs. So when I got diagnosed with laryngeal cancer on my vocal cords, and for a singer, musician, it's a big deal,
That's
and it's a
devastating.
very common thing with singers.
Is it really? Is it because
yeah,
you're just
using
them so much?
Even a trained singer will sing improperly to reach a certain kind of attitude or whatever, right? A little growl or a whatever. Yeah. And you get these little tears in your vocal cords, and then they develop polyps. And those polyps can become cancerous.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So everybody was like, oh, I told you about smoking cigarettes. It was not from that. I mean, it didn't help. But it was, from using my voice improperly. And so when they diagnosed me, I was pretty shattered. Now, I had no insurance. I had insurance for my kids. But I didn't have insurance for me.
Wow.
And when you're in the underground music scene, it's not like you're paying into a, Social Security or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're just kind of you're one bad record away from bankruptcy. You know what I mean? And so, but during the treatment, and I had money. I was pretty well off. And so I started paying for this treatment, and it was running me broke. I mean, chemo, radiation,
I can imagine,
not to mention the cancer treatment was causing my kidneys to shut down. So now I'm doing dialysis. So I'm doing chemo on Monday, dialysis on Thursday. I'm sick all week.
Wow.
And while there was no real pain in it, they prescribed and promoted it as non-addictive Oxycontin.
That's how they promoted it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The new non-addictive, right? And that got me.
Yeah.
So that took me through, back into street drugs, and obviously I sacrificed everything.
Yeah.
You will never hear me say I lost everything, because I didn't lose nothing. I sacrificed everything.
Dang.
I am not the guy that went into it blind. I saw it happening, and I made choices. And I had been out of the music industry for a little bit, and and my kids were growing up, and, I wasn't exciting anymore. because they have their own friends and everything. And I was kind of this lonely guy that, felt like life was now behind him. And I sought out, a feeling in opiates. And that brought me to the streets, to getting in trouble with the law, to being homeless. And then I literally spent 8 years on the streets as a drug dealer, bouncing around from motel to motel, ODing all the time, just horrible. And nothing about it. And the thing is that all I knew about the drug world, because I didn't like, it wasn't a long time thing that progressed. Was like Pulp Fiction or Scarface, or like that's all I knew. So I thought guns and everything, you know what I mean? Like, this is the way you do it. And I got real bad, and I did, horrible things that I'm not proud of, but at the same time I'm not ashamed of them.
Right.
They don't define who I am.
Yeah, I love that.
And it, I did a couple of little, go to treatment, but I never went to treatment with the idea of getting completely clean.
Yeah.
I just went to get some time to figure things out. I was always trying to figure it out. I was looking for a intellectual solution. I was looking for any kind of solution but a spiritual solution.
Yeah.
Which is what I needed.
Yeah.
And when I came here to Wasatch, it was still just another part of my hustle.
Yeah, I know. I remember when you got here, and I know for the first little while, you could tell you were kind of bucking the system. You weren't surrendering. You were fighting this or that. Yeah, I mean, you were respectful, but you could just tell you were, again, kind of the same mentality you had before. It's like, hey, I'm just looking for maybe a quick answer and let me get out of here, and I'm gonna go live my life, kind of thing. And it was cool to see you eventually get to that place of surrender, man.
I love how you teach people about embracing themselves, about loving themselves. I love that about you.
Oh, thanks.
And where I had a conflict with that was I knew deep inside that I was all I ever thought about.
Yeah.
I didn't need to learn how to love myself. I needed to learn how to love others. I needed to learn how to think about others before I thought about myself. And it was shattering because I didn't feel like I was going to be able to do it. And God gave me this gift right out there on that lawn. It was my second time up here. And there was a guy, and I can't even remember his name. But every weekend he would say, I got a visitor coming, they're going to bring my kids. And they would not show up. And I watched this. Now, when I came here, I came off the streets with nobody left. Parents had both passed away. Kids didn't want nothing to do with me. I had burnt every bridge. There was nobody bringing me a carton of cigarettes, nobody giving me a debit card to go on store night. I literally showed up here with 13 EBT cards that had other people's names on them, and Alicia made me cut them up, right? But like there was no anything that was going to, like nobody was going to come see me, no visits. And so I would watch other people, and in the beginning I was very jealous and envious of them having their families come and supporting them and everything. But this guy every weekend would wait for this visitor to show up, and they wouldn't show up. And one day they showed up, and I saw the look on his face when he saw his little boy, and I got tears in my eyes of joy for somebody else's success. And it was a very foreign feeling to me. I'd been so selfish and self-centered for so long, and so, you don't understand, and I'm a victim of this, and I'm a victim of that, and like I just couldn't have a feeling for anybody else. And I had a feeling for that guy, and I decided right then and there, I'm done. I'm done, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time here watching things happen for other people. And so I started watching, and I watched the good side of that and the bad side. I watched the damage that it did to still have a lot of support of the family.
Right, yeah.
And I watched the uplifting part where it was like, okay, I got a second chance at life here.
Yeah.
And that was where it changed for me. Like I can literally say that I have found joy. And I've found joy in service, and I've found joy in my dreams again.
Yeah. Wow, man, that is powerful. I got chills, dude. Seriously. My listeners are going to laugh because I share this a lot, but I need to share it with you, and I may have already shared this with you before. We had a guy, he was in House 1. He was from New Mexico. Can't remember his name either. But I do remember I asked the group, we were up in the group room, I said, okay, everyone just stand up, say something that's on your heart today. I didn't know where it was going to go. And people were sharing some things. This guy stands up and shares this. And I put it to my memory because it just changed my life in the moment. He said this, and it goes along with what you just said. He said this: I tried to find myself I could not see. I tried to find my God eluded me. I tried to find my brother, I found all three.
Yeah.
And that your story, what you just said, reminded me of that. And, I share this a lot with the clients. You can master the first 11 steps of AA, you'll drink again. You master step 12, you'll never touch another drop. And what's step 12? It's that service piece.
Service.
And to hear you say that, dude, is so beautiful. And I love the emotion behind it as well, Gabe. And I agree with you. I look back how my life changed over my addiction. It was an act of kindness and service to someone else other than me. And I was like, that's what that feels like? It was amazing. So, thank you for sharing that. It just brought up a lot of feelings in my own heart.
Yeah. Me, every time I tell that, I get that,
Yeah.
Ooh. And I was having a conversation with a guy this morning, and he's telling me his plan. And I'm not the guy like I worked up here for a little bit, but I had to go to work down there because I will lay it I'll be way too blunt and maybe, hurt somebody's feelings, but I couldn't hold back, and I told this guy, I said, you know what, dude, like if I had your mother's phone number, I'd have her take that car back. I would have her, because you need to endure the struggle.
Yeah.
That umbilical cord, and I feel for families.
Sure.
Like I get this feeling several times a day where I look at families that would be willing to do anything to get their baby boy back or their daughter back, and they think that, like, okay, if I give them this and I help them get an apartment and I help them do this, I can make it a little easier for them to get back. And the thing is in the struggle and in the rebuilding of the life is where you get that appreciation and that gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, I am grateful. Like, I don't measure my sobriety by the number on my medallion.
Right.
I measure my sobriety by the milestones that I have accomplished in that. And some of them may not sound like a big deal to some people, but having the same phone number for a year blew my mind. When I got that message from my carrier, I was like, I've paid the bill every month and never late. You know what I mean? Like, that was a milestone to me.
Totally.
Okay, because even when I had money, somebody else was paying my bills. Trust me. You know what I mean? I'd go, here's somebody, take care of it. I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? My wife would do it or whatever. And sleeping in the same bed for over a year is huge to me.
Yeah.
Buying bedding, washing my sheets, washing my pillowcases. Those things are huge to me.
Boy, what perspective that is, right?
And if you can learn in the beginning to have gratitude for those little things, the blessings will just start coming your way because everybody has blessings coming at them. It's whether or not you have the ability to recognize it.
Wow.
It's so easy to get blinded by what's good in your life. seldom do we know what the good things in our life are.
Well, yeah, and just like I can't remember the last time I got in my bed and said, "God, I'm so grateful for this bedding." I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But as you're saying this, I'm going, yeah, I should be really grateful I have bedding, because there's so many people who don't. But yet I just take it for granted. Oh, I got this bedding.
Yeah.
But to hear you say that, man, that really hit me.
Again, like I say, parents long past by the time I got into recovery. You know, kids didn't want nothing to do with me. Ex-wife.
Yeah.
Worried a lot, but was not about to hand. You know, I remember I called her. She was the only person I called while I was here. I called her and I said, "Can you send me some money for cigarettes?" And she said, "I'll buy you underwear and I'll send it to you, but I'm not buying you cigarettes." I was like, so everything that I've accomplished in the 20 months that I've been clean, I had to go out and do it on my own.
Yeah.
And that's and it's why, and I'm not taking the credit for that. Those are all gifts from God. Yeah. All these things that have happened. And the one thing that I want to make sure that I say in this before we run out of time is that my rejoining society, okay? Being a productive member of society and being a part of a community and knowing people in the neighborhood, like that regular ass people stuff. Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to. Okay. But you know what I mean? Like, I needed that so bad. And I would pray every night, "God, please help me just fit in somewhere." Wow. Because in the music business, I was over here and the world was there. They're the civilians. I'm the rock star. You know, whatever the ego tells you, you know. And like spending, 9 months out of the year in a tour bus traveling around, playing, and like you meet people for a minute and then you're on to the next city and stuff. So I didn't really know how to just blend into society. And God gave me a job in a grocery store. That's like he didn't say, "Okay, I'm gonna snap my finger, Gabe, and you're gonna know how to fit into society." He gave me a spiritual exercise. Wow. And I work in a meat department, and I know my customers' names, and they know my name, and I know their kids' names, and I know what this kid's going on his mission, and this, like, I know things about people in my community. And that was how God gave me that gift. And that's why it's so important to not like have a picture in your mind of what it's going to look like to learn how to do something or how to get somewhere. Yeah. I'm writing a new single right now called Train Called Faith. And that's what it's all about is like just going through the motions, doing the next right thing. And when you're living a clean life, you will receive those blessings.
Yeah, dang. Very powerful words, Gabe. Thank you so much, man. So, you just released your first solo album.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell our listeners what's the name of it and how would they get their hands on it.
Okay. So, Gabey Omega is my entertainment name.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah. And the Omega part was like, this is the end. This is the home stretch for me.
Stretch.
I'm 62 years old, breaking back into music, and I didn't want to hijack my success from the past to do this.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say, okay, well, I used to be this, I used to be that. I wanted to feel that all that stuff and that hunger like I had from ground zero. So, my entertainment name is Gabey Omega. That's Gabey. Omega, Omega.
Okay.
And the album is called Bullets, and it's available on all streaming platforms.
Nice.
Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all of them. And it's a very vulnerable, raw, stripped down, take one kind of deal. It's me and a guitar. There's a couple of electric songs at the end of the album, but I always depended on my band to help me shine, and I just wanted it to be real.
So just real and raw, and just raw, you out there in the open.
Me with the guitar and singing,
You shared a song with me, and I listened to it, and I got that feeling when I listened to it. I was like, dang, this is you just putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really impressed with that. And again, but what's cool about that, and it chokes me up to even think about it, that's kind of how you carry yourself in the community here with us, is you just put yourself out there. I would watch you do it in group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we'd have to tell you, hey, Gabe, we've got enough information from you. Slow her down there, buddy. You know, less rock.
Let's talk more rock.
Let's talk
right?
more rock, yeah. But again, what I loved about you always is you were just real. You were just, and I could tell that you cared about people. And I think ultimately this is why you did this album, is like you're trying to put positive vibes out into the world.
Yeah.
And again, so I respect that. How far you've come, I guess, is a way to say it.
It's amazing.
And to be able, you're lucky to be alive, and I know you know that. And we're lucky to have you, man. I'm serious. Like, we are, the world's a better place with you in it, brother.
And like my mom said, and if I can say to anybody, you can do anything that you want.
What did she say? Can't lives on
Won't Street.
I'm going to use that with my kids. I love that.
Yeah, and yeah.
If you don't mind, I want to share a statement with you, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
And then I got one more question I'll ask after that, but love to hear your thoughts, because this reminds me of you.
Okay.
Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. A reminder that we're all unfinished stories, scarred by our mistakes, yet redeemed by the hope of what's to come. It whispers that even in the darkest moments can be stepping stones to light. That redemption isn't reserved for the perfect. No, it's for the broken, the flawed, the ones who have fallen and desire to rise again. The past doesn't define you. It shapes you. And the future, well, hell, that's where you'll shine. That reminded me of you. That's why I have it on here.
So when I listened to that, you reading that, like, it was like getting to relive everything in my life.
Yep.
And that the future is beautiful because you can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think of all the amazing paintings that are not of anything. They're just a pattern of colors and a design. And the beauty is in what every individual sees individually.
Yeah.
And we see things because, what things look like to us is from where we've been.
Yeah.
And the path that we've been on.
Yep.
And that's why I love just looking at a mountain,
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, does everybody see what I see, the shapes in that? And I don't think so. I think everybody gets their own vision of something. That, and
they look at a different perspective.
Yeah, the future's beautiful. That's one of the lines in the song Train Called Faith that says, I have no picture of my destiny. Faith is blind and beautiful, and I can't see.
Dang.
That's
powerful.
And
Well, thank you. That was awesome. If someone's listening to you right now, they've tuned into this, they're listening to Gabe, they're struggling, they're in a dark place, what would you tell that person right now?
You got to make a decision. It really boils down to making a decision. Am I done being here? And do I want to go someplace else? I don't stay clean, Todd, because of what I don't want. I stay clean because of what I do want. And that came from doing the work.
Yeah.
Trust God, clean house, help others. That's what they say in AA, right? And like, and I adore the 12 steps and all that, but I am a firm believer that if you do the work, you are recovered.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be that, like...
You're speaking my language there.
Yeah, that stigmatism that says, I can't do this because I can't go there because I'm an addict. I can't, I'm not afraid to turn on State Street anymore. I'm not afraid to turn down 7200. I'm not afraid of driving by the liquor store. I'm not running from it. If you're running from it, you can't outrun it.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to stand and face it and make a decision. And as hard as this is for people to hear, there's two ways you show up to treatment, done and not done. If you're done, you can't do this thing bad enough to get loaded. And if you know,
Yeah.
if you're not, then you can't do it good enough to stay clean. Look at how many people we've seen come through. Do the work.
Do the work.
Really do the work.
Really do
but
it.
still have that reservation in their head. You can recover.
Wow. Well said, my friend. Well said. Thank you. Very inspiring words.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for taking time to be on my podcast. It means the world to me. I think the world of you. I look up to you. I'm glad we're friends. You just really are someone who put in the work and someone who has a big heart. And I love the advice you give people. And I love that you're blunt. I do. I think we need that sometimes. We need someone to just tell us the truth to our face, and it may sting. But I just want you to know I really love the way you carry yourself. And I'm really proud of you for getting back into music because, again, it's your dream. Your mom's probably cheering you on from heaven, if you will, and your dad as well. So thanks for being you, Gabe.
Thanks, Todd.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Guys, there you go. I told you we were in for a great one today. Gabe, he's an amazing man. Please check out his music. It's on all the platforms out there, like his streaming platforms. I'll have the links in the show notes, so you'll be able to click right to it and get to it and connect with Gabe. And I'll have his social handles on there as well. But you guys were treated just like I was. And please share this with your loved ones, if you will, and especially those who are struggling in your family. They need to hear some words that may change their life, and Gabe shared some powerful things today. So share the link to them. I'd appreciate that as well. And again, thanks to my sponsors for believing in me. I love you guys. And Gabe, one last thank you to you. You're the best. Love you, brother.
Love you too.